right. Um, Good afternoon, class. How you guys doing today? So today we'll be moving down to nutrition, and we're really gonna go on a tour this time around because the last time we've done all the ecology part of it, So let's quickly go down to nutrition, and then we'll talk about the plant nutrition, the animal nutrition, and then we'll move from there. Maybe we're done with nutrition, then we'll go back to soil. You understand? All right, let's start with this. First of all, you have to ask yourself, what is nutrition? And you say nutrition itself, some other books tell you feeding. They call it feeding. But the question is, what is feeding? The feeding means the act of what? Taking in what? Organic molecules into the what? Into the body system. Why are you feeding? Why are you eating? The major reason why we eat is to generate what? Energy, right? And is to also continue our day-to-day what now? Metabolic action. But however, if you define what nutrition is, you say nutrition is the process by which a living entity what? Will take in what? Organic molecule, food substances into the body system so that it can what? Continue. Okay.
When you look at the screen, you think you are facing the voice.
Okay. All right. I guess, like I was saying, nutrition has to be defined as the process by which what an organic molecule is what? Is taken in what? An organic molecule, or is the process by which food substances is being taken into the body system for proper what? Growth and development. Proper growth and what? Development. So that means why you eat is for proper growth and what? Development. Feeding, taking in food substances for what? For proper growth and what? Development. That's the major reason why we eat. And that is what they call what now? Nutrition. Are we together now? So people used to say that nutrition can be defined, nutrition is divided into autotrophic and heterotrophic. Autotrophic and heterotrophic. This is what people say. But however, this is called the mode of nutrition. This is called the mode of what? Nutrition. The mode of what? Nutrition. We have the types of nutrition. The types of nutrition. The type of nutrition is plant nutrition, and animal what? Nutrition. This is the type. Why this is the mode? This is mode. Why this is what now? The mode. This is the mode of nutrition, autotrophic and what? Heterotrophic. But the types of nutrition is plant nutrition and animal what? Nutrition. Are we good now? So let's look at it. If we say plant nutrition, that means we're going to be talking about what? The plant, how does plant feed? If we say animal nutrition, we're going to be talking about how animal do what now? Feed. Are we good? So what are we going to talk about today is that we're going to start with plant what? Nutrition. And when we say plant nutrition, we're talking about how do plants what now? Feed. How do they feed? How do they feed? They feed through what? They feed through two processes. Let me link this together. They feed through a mode. through a mode called autotrophic mode of nutrition. What is autotrophic mode of nutrition? It means that it is a process by which what? Living organisms tend to manufacture their own what? Food. It's a process by which living organisms tend to manufacture their own what now? Food. And what are the two processes living organisms will manufacture their own food for? The two process the living organism will manufacture their own food is through photosynthesis and what? Chemosynthesis. So we say photosynthesis, chemo what? Synthesis. Photosynthesis, chemo what? Synthesis. So, and then you now break it down. You now say, let's talk about photo what? Synthesis. So, you get the logic now. Henceforth, when somebody asks you how many types of nutrition we have, you say we got two. And what are the two types? Say plant nutrition and animal what? Nutrition. Okay, what are the mode of nutrition? You get them to understand that the mode has to do with what? Autotrophic and what? Heterotrophic. What is autotrophic? Autotrophic tend to make us understand that this is the process by which what? Living entity tends to manufacture their own what? Food. Do you understand? So, that's how it's been done. That's how you understand it. That's the storyline of this. So, you now have to tell them what process do they use, the autotrophic use for their own nutrition. You say what? Photosynthesis and what? Chemo what? Synthesis. And what? Chemo what? Synthesis. Now, what is photosynthesis? Everybody used to define as a process by which green plant manufacture their own what now? Food. And then you stop there. If you're going to be writing WAEC, if you define that, you're on your own. Because if you do that definition, you've lost it. That is so wrong. Very, very wrong. Because it is the process. They call it what? I'm going to write it on the board, the full definition of photosynthesis. Is defined as the process by which living, you don't use living, all right? You use what? By which green plants, okay? Green plants manufacture their own what? Their own food. How? Through the what? Through the help of what? Sunlight. Who traps it? Trap. By what? Chlorophyll. Trapped by what? Chlorophyll. And then trapped by chlorophyll, you now say whereby CO2 and water are CO2 and water are used as raw material. Okay? Are used as raw material to form the organic what now? Molecule, in bracket, you now put what now? Food. If you define it this way, you get your full mark as a WAEC student. But however, there's another way. You can say whereby CO2 and water combine together to produce what? And what? Organic what now? Molecule or organic what? Substance. The main aim of photosynthesis is to produce what now? Food. That's all. That's our aim. Why do we do photosynthesis? So that we can generate what now? Food. You're done. So if I'm doing photosynthesis, it means that I want to ensure that we get food. Food is being produced. That's what I'm doing. That's why I'm doing it. Do I make myself clear now? That's the reason why I'm doing it. So I'm doing it so that I can generate what? Food. So this is the full what now definition. I had to take my time to write it. Now look at it. So that means CO2 plus H2O. We write sunlight, chlorophyll, CO2, H2O, sunlight, chlorophyll to give us C6, H12, O6, plus what? Oxygen. 6, 6, 6. Are we together now? Now, this is where they ask the main question. This is where you see them asking good questions. They start asking you this popular question. Hear this question. They'll ask you that what is the raw material for photosynthesis? Your definition told you that already. What is the raw material? CO2 and what? Water. Is that the only raw material? No. But the major raw material for what? Photosynthesis is what? CO2 and what? Water. Are we good? Are we good? Then, all right. So the other thing they ask now is this. Look at this language I want to give you. This language is very important. They'll use what is the main product? What is the first product? What is the essential product? Then they'll now use one last one. They say, what is the primary product? All of this mean the same thing. Main product, first product, essential product, primary product means the same thing. And it's obvious that the main product, the products can never be here. If you're a science student, you're a chemistry student, you will understand that reactants are always here, while the products are always here. Are we together now? So that means this guy is the reason why we are carrying out this word, action. This is the main reason why we are carrying out this action. Therefore, if they say main product, if they say first product, if they say essential product, your answer remains to be what now? Glucose. Glucose. Then they've asked a question. They say, what is the primary product of photosynthesis? Obviously, now this is what I'll say. The primary product of photosynthesis, you will now tell them glucose and what? And this guy here, what? Oxygen. Because they are the product we see that comes out what now? First. But which one is the first one? Glucose. Which one is the main one? Glucose. Which one is the essential one? Glucose. But primary answer is what? Glucose and what? Oxygen. Some people even say carbohydrates and what? Oxygen. Are we together now? Carbohydrate and what? Oxygen. Now follow me. So immediately you're done with that, then you scrap this guy out by making you understand that this guy is the byproduct. So when they say the first product, answer, you say good. Answer is what? Glucose. The byproduct, you say, is what? Oxygen. Everything is written in the word, in the equation. But now, when they are done with that with you, they will now ask you, okay, if you tell us that the first product, the essential product, your main product is glucose, then what is the secondary word? Product. Secondary product. You made them understand that, well, you guys can't fool me. I understand what you're trying to tell me. So if my primary product or my first product is glucose, then it tends to tell me that, it makes me to understand that glucose, plants store what? Carbohydrates as what? As starch. So if plants store carbohydrates as starch, then the first product that plant always produce is what? Is glucose. Then that means the secondary product is going to be, sorry, you could mute your mic. You just came in, mute your mic. All right? Thank you. All right? So, if the first product is glucose, then it means that the secondary product is going to be what? It's going to be starch. It's going to be what? Starch. It's going to be starch. It's going to be starch. So, first product, glucose. Secondary product is going to be what? Starch. Are we together now? So, let's roll now. If there's a raw material, your answer is going to be what? CO2 and what? Water. If there's a main product, first product, answer will be what? Glucose. Essential product, glucose. If they say what's the byproduct, oxygen, then if they ask you that what is the primary product, primary, glucose and what? Oxygen. Or you say carbohydrates and what? Oxygen. And then if they tell you that what is the secondary product, that means the end product of glucose in plants, your answer is going to be what? Starch. So the whole story still lies on the what? On the board. Now, why people actually get this thing wrong? They used to say the chlorophyll, yes, the chlorophyll is found in the what? In the chloroplast. But the reality is, what part of the chloroplast is the chlorophyll found? Then we need to get it right. Inside the chloroplast, there is an inner membrane. And that inner membrane is called thylakoid. Thylakoid. It's called thylakoid. Thylakoid is the inner what? Membrane of the chloroplast. And the inner membrane of the chloroplast is where we find the what? The chlorophyll. And that is where the sunlight is trapped into. It's not the whole chloroplast. It is the thylakoid, the part of the thylakoid of the what? Of the membrane. Are we good now? So I've helped you out. The questions they used to ask is here. But however, they still have other questions they used to ask. And then we'll move forward to that. Now, this is where we go. They used to say, how many phases do we have in photosynthesis? Obviously, we have two phases. We got the light phase and we have the what? The dark phase. Some say the light stage, some call it stage. Anyone, light phase, dark phase, it's the same thing. So, I want you to understand one good thing here. When they say the light phase, I think I'm going to take this off. When they say the light phase, there is something called two main agents that must be available. Two main agents must be available for the light phase to occur. Light phase of photosynthesis. Light phase. Number one, we call it what? NADPH. NADPH. Number two is called what now? ATP. Nicotinamide adenosine dinucleotide phosphate. This H here is an electron transfer known as what? Hydrogen. Again, we say it's what? Nicotinamide. Nicotinamide adenosine dinucleotide what? Phosphate. Okay? Nicotinamide adenosine dinucleotide what? Phosphate. That's what we call it. Dinucleotide what now? Phosphate. So, and then we talk about ATP. ATP is what? Adenosine triphosphate. You see, these two are main precursors that are needed for what? The light phase. They are needed for the what? The light phase. And what other thing do we need? Why do we call it the light phase? Because this is the phase whereby what? Now the solar energy is needed. That means the energy is coming directly from the what? The sun. The energy comes from where? From the sun. Do you get? Now, immediately we have this, our precursor ready. We have the NADPH, We have the what now? ATP, the adenosine triphosphate, the nicotinamide adenosine dinucleotide phosphate. These guys are the precursor that kickstart the what? The light phase. They help us to kickstart the what? The light phase, so that we can understand that this light phase is the most important stage in what? In photosynthesis. So, there are 4 processes you must know. They say the first process, some people call it activation. Activation of chlorophyll, or energization. Energization of chlorophyll. Number 2 is called the photolysis of water. Number 3, we call it what? Formation. Formation of NADP. Ish. And number 4, we call it formation of what? ATP. Please follow. Follow this process. It's not hard. It's a very simple process. It's not hard. It's a very simple process, and I need you to know it. Activation of chlorophyll, or we call it energization of what? Chlorophyll. We call the other one photolysis of water. We call the other one formation of NADPH. We call the other one now formation of what? ATP. Now, see the next thing you need to get here. See the next thing you need to get. So, how does this start? Very simple. The ATP has been known to be the stored form of energy in biology. I've said that before. It's said to be the energy stored in what? In biology, you know. And the nicotinamide, NADPH, both of them work together as what? Precursor. So what happened? Immediately, the sunlight shines, and there is a plant. The chlorophyll opens. Which part? The thylakoid, which is the inner membrane. It opens, traps sunlight. Immediately it traps sunlight, the chlorophyll becomes what? Energized, full of energy. The energy is much in the what? In the chloroplast, where the chlorophyll is what? Is contained. And now everybody asks is that you have all your energy. What do you use the energy for? It comes down and meets water and say, you water, I'm going to split you. That's why they call it what? Photolysis of what? Water. That means it's splitting what now? Water. So it tells water, I'm going to split you out. So it breaks water down. So it breaks water down to what? For H blood and what? For OH what? Minus. Are we done? So it quickly breaks this water down. And immediately breaks the water down. Yep. So it breaks